Hey sexy people, hello and welcome back to the Divine Sexy School, a place where women go to get their sexy back on track. I'm Teresa Schley Valenzuela, speaker, expert on the feminine divine, and author of the novel and screenplay Penelope and the Divine, a story about a sensual woman who harnesses the mystical feminine power of the universe and uses it to save the world. I'm also founder and headmistress of the Divine Sexy School. One of the things I talk about over and over again at the Divine Sexy School is something that I call Polarity Principles, which is basically the ebb and flow of masculine and feminine energy between men and women and within our own bodies and within life cycles. In the Divine Sexy School, one of the things that makes the work that we do here so unique is we focus on cycles, cosmic cycles, microcosm cycles, cycles of life, cycles of energy, how all that works together and makes us up who we are, which is truly just energetic beings. We're pure consciousness, expressed in all these crazy, unique, magical, zany, and difficult ways that is humanity. Today, what I want to do is define man. In one of the earlier videos, I defined femininity. Well, today I want to define masculinity and what that really is. I also am talking about this because I want you women out there to be more open to men. Be more open to how they operate and what their needs are. Why is this important? Because guess what? Can't live with them, can't live without them, right? They're a part of your life. By understanding why they do what they do and what their drivers are and what their biological expression of energy is, it's going to decrease stress in your life. The less stress you have, the healthier you are, and the more you can revel in your juicy femininity. So that's what we're all about here at the Divine Sexy School. Men and women both have masculine energy inside of them. It ebbs and flows throughout the day and throughout life cycles, as I said. At different times of our lives, we're more masculine and feminine. That's all fine and good. It's a normal part of living here on this planet. But what throws us off and drains our divine sexiness is when we reside in the wrong polarity at the wrong time for the wrong reason. Now, first, before I go any further, I want to define what a real man is, what the good guys are. Because at the Divine Sexy School, when I'm talking about guys or talking about real men or men, I'm talking about the real men, your average guy, the good guys out there, which are, a lot of them are probably, maybe you're overlooking. But these are the men who, they're the nurturing people, they're the providers. I'm specifically not talking about abusive men, verbally abusive or physically abusive, and men in the throes of an addiction. I'm not talking about men who conquer and use and abuse femininity as if it is weaker, and they manipulate women from that place. We're leaving those men out of the equation, okay? Just talking about the regular guys, the good guys, your dad, your brother, the UPS driver, the guy at the grocery store, as long as he is a good man. So masculine energy is driving, conquering, producing, it's pushing, it's fire, it's hot. I often hear both men and women say that men have simple needs. Well, this may be true, but they have complicated decision-making processes. And this is one of the things that kind of throws us off as women understanding men. Don't take them for granted and just brush them aside and say, well, they have simple needs. They just give them food and sex and they'll be happy. Well, that's sort of true, but there's a lot more to it than that. Men are highly intuitive, especially when it comes to women. Their intuition operates on more of a gut level. So while women may want to talk about their feelings or talking about a sensation that they had or something that they sensed, men just have a gut reaction. And what they do is they either act or do not act. So they choose action or inaction based on their gut reaction. Now, while this seems completely normal to a man, it can be infuriating to a woman because it looks like they're just sitting there like a lump of clay. Like, do something. Why aren't you doing something? Well, they are doing something. They're choosing to do nothing because that's what feels right to them. If you ask them to explain it, they may not be able to, because another thing about male biology is they have smaller language centers than women do. So they don't have a need to sort of like hyperanalyze through discussion either in their head or with their friends about what they're feeling or what they're doing. All they know is, if you ask them, they'll go, I don't know, They may not have words for it, but all they know is it either felt right or it didn't, and they acted or they didn't act. Another thing about men is they love to produce. That is one of their needs and desires and expressions is they production. They love cycles. You give them something to do, they want to complete the task. It's one of the reasons why when you go to someone, you know, your lover, and you say, honey, I had a really bad day, instead of what you really want is for them to hold you, and they're like, well, trying to fix it, and you're thinking that's insensitive. No, that's just how they are. If they even smell a cycle, they have to finish it. It's like a competition thing, almost. Also, they want the win. They want to be successful. So this is what I'm saying when I say men sort of have a gut instinct. If there's something presented to them and they're going to get a sense whether or not they're going to succeed. They're going to get the win. If they can tell that no matter what they do, they're not getting the win, I can guarantee you they're going to be sitting their ass on the couch. Meanwhile, you're on the other end of that going, what's happening over here? That's part of it. When a man is in a position to commit to a woman, he knows he has a lot to lose because biologically speaking, he's driven to provide, nurture, serve, and protect. And that's a big job. And also, when a man commits to a woman, he's giving up his independence. That's one of men's main biological drivers, is for independence. That's why everybody talks about the proverbial man cave. Men need that. They need a space where they can go and be independent for whatever period of time they need. So it's nice to know all this stuff about men, but how can this information help you feel divine and sexy in the real world, right? Well, at the Divine Sexy School, we teach you that your thoughts create your reality. This is very important. It's one of the fundamental principles of science and metaphysics, quantum physics. The observer affects the observed. What you perceive is what you create. What you create is what you perceive. So if you're holding negative thoughts in your mind as a woman, at the same time you're saying, how come I can't get a good relationship? Or how come my man isn't acting right? But while you're holding thoughts that men are idiots, men are dumb, men are lazy, men are stupid, all these things that we say about men, you're working at cross purposes and you're creating internal conflict, and that's going to keep you away from getting your goal. But more importantly though, and I think not enough people talk about this, not enough teachers talk about this, is that the emotions that you hold in your heart, if they're not in alignment with what you actually want, it's not just your thoughts that are going to create, it's the emotions behind your thoughts. So if you may be holding, teaching yourself to hold a positive thought in your mind about men, but in your heart you feel fear and anger and resentment toward men, again, you're still working at cross purposes. So how can you fix this and make it better? Well, changing your thoughts and your emotions about men will change your life. I 100% guarantee it. I go over this in depth in the free video course, How to Get Your Sexy Back on Track. So if you haven't signed up for the Divine Sexy School mailing list, do that and you get the free course. Totally free, 3 free videos. I talk about all this stuff. And I also go over this in depth in Divine Sexy 101, which is the core curriculum of the Divine Sexy School. So there's always more information available to you here, the Divine Sexy School. So here are a few things to remember about men so that you can improve all your relationships with the men in your life. Well, the first thing you can do is let men be men. I said it before, I'll say it again. No more man bashing. Stop bashing men. Understanding who they are and why they do what they do relieves the need to criticize them for why they're doing what they're doing. Let them do what they do. There's a reason for it. We didn't create the way the Polarity Principles are. They're just that way. And when you literally shift your perspective just a tiny bit and start observing men from the standpoint that they're nurturing. They're here to serve, provide, and protect. They need their independence. They operate from a gut level instinct, and they don't feel the need to talk about things all the time. You just get a completely different perspective on them, and they're just kind of cute. They're doing their thing just like we're doing our thing, and you can honor and celebrate them, and it just reduces the amount of stress and tension that you have in your life. It'll change your life. So stop man bashing. Second thing is, men don't always want to talk. So if you want to talk over an issue, whatever it is, work related, health related, girl related, shopping related, anything family related, try not to go to your man for that. And people say, oh, he's my soulmate, he's my best friend, he's my best friend. Well, that's nice to have someone who's your best friend, who's your man also, but when you put all that on him, it's kind of a lot. They don't really want to be talking all the time, and you can't fulfill all of your emotional needs as a woman. We have deep emotional needs. You can't expect a man to fulfill them all for you. They don't need to talk. They have smaller language centers in the brain. It's just not how they operate. So if you feel like you need to really talk about something, talk to your girlfriends first, or your mom or your sisters or whoever, a woman. And try not to expect your man to want to talk about things all the time. Let him off the hook for that. When you can, give a man a win. Honey, this jar lid is so tight. Can you open it for me? I know that sounds kind of corny. Give a man a win. It could be anything. Anything that you can think of that will give a man a win. If you're at the grocery store and something's a little too high for you, happens to me a lot, and there's a man around, ask them to help you. Give a man a cycle to complete. If you are having a bad day and you come home and you say, honey, I had a bad day, this thing happened, and he goes into fix-it mode, let him go. Instead of criticizing him, because what you really want is to be held, let him fix it. Thank you. And then maybe ask him to hold you. But give a man a win and let him complete the cycle. That really builds up their masculinity. It makes them feel better. Let him do that for you. Which goes hand in hand with number 4, and that's ask for help. It's okay. We're trained as modern Western women, post-feminist women, that we can do it all the time. We can do it better, we can do it faster, we can do it backwards in high heels, and we can do lots of things at the same time, which men don't always have an easy time with. And what has that gotten us? Exhausted. Our adrenals are depleted. Our thyroid is depleted. Ever notice how many celebrities or people you're hearing about that have thyroid issues and thyroid cancer? A lot of it comes from the way we're living as modern women. Ask men for help. Give them the win by asking them for help. For whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Ask for help from any man in your radius, and then express appreciation for what they've done for you. These simple little things will help you see men in a new light, help you understand why they do what they do, and I guarantee it will relieve stress and help you feel more divinely sexy. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this information with you. As always, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to contact me, headmistress@divinesexyschool.com. And remember, the Divine Sexy School, because sexy is divine.